Howdy, I'm Buster Paws. Welcome to Ranch Dogs. On this episode, we headed over to Rancho Di Siete to visit with Jimmy T and Monica with their dogs Catcher and Cutter.
Okay, my name is Jim Thiebert.
I'm Monica Garrett, and these are my ranch dogs, Cutter and Catcher.
You know, I was always doing something with horses growing up, and even through the military I was rodeoing and stuff like that. It was just the freedom of it, I guess. Didn't have to punch a time clock. Pretty good living. You're around horses, doing what you like to do. My dad's name was Jim Thiebert as well, and he was originally from Kalispell, Montana. And I was born in Casper, Wyoming. I was born in '62, and he was probably shoeing horses then in Wyoming, and then we moved to Chandler, Arizona in '73 or '74, something like that. You know, and then he continued shoeing backyard horses. He did the racetrack for 30 years. He was shoeing, we go to Prescott and then we go to Turf Paradise. He did that for years and years and years. Went in the Marine Corps in 1980, was a 6143 airframes mechanic, wound up on CH-53 helicopters, and was in a rotating squadron. HMH 361. Rotating squadron is one we were here for a year, and we rotated to Okinawa for 6 months and back home for a year and then back over there for 6 months, and got out in '84. But also during my service, we have a military rodeo association, and our base had a team, and we were a pretty good bunch of cowboys. And in 1984 we won the national championship. And then after I got out, went to work for a racehorse trainer, and did a little of this and a little of that for the racehorse trainer, and was still rodeoing. I got my PRCA card in, I don't know, probably '86, something like that. Filled it, I guess, filled my card. And then I rodeoed, you know, not on too much of a serious level, but I rodeoed mostly in Southern California. And in the meantime of doing that, after I quit the racehorse trainer, I did an apprenticeship for a really good farrier in Southern California. He kind of targeted the reining horse industry. That was the most what he did. And so I kind of fell into doing reining horses. And then I worked for him until '91, where it was kind of a time I was gonna have to go on my own and make a decision to stay in California or come back home to Arizona. So I went ahead and came back over here to Arizona. Started my business here. My business evolved kind of like the reining horse industry evolved, and it just snowballed. Been good. I was shoeing for Marcy Vermeer, and I used to go back to the reining fraternity every year, and Marcy had a really good horse named Gunner's Special Night, and he ended up being the reserve champion at the NRHA fraternity and was leading it all the way to the very last horse, and then Sean Flaherty beat him. And it was just probably one of the most special evening weeks that I've ever had in my business. The original reason that you shoe a horse is if you're using them and they're wearing their feet off faster than they're growing them, so they get tender, and therefore you need to put protection down there. But in today's day and age, we have such specialized events. We have the race horses, they need the light aluminum shoes with a little cleat on them like a track shoe. You know, the reining horses, they have a sliding plate, which is basically a ski, so that when they hit the dirt and slide, they can, you know, slide in the ground, and, you know, just a different shoe for different, whatever job they do, you know. And if you got the normal trail horse, you just put a normal old shoe on, and you have to pull their shoe off and trim their foot back to where they should be and not get them out of whack, out of balance, I should say. Yeah, the trainer will tell you if a horse isn't doing something correctly. I mean, if they're not sliding right or nothing, you maybe make subtle adjustments in their shoes, and it basically is like a fingernail. It's all made up of the same thing as our fingernails are. You know, if you look at your finger this way, where your finger is curved, and you have a hard shell on the outside of your finger, and then when you get your fingernail clippers out and you trim it off, that's basically what we trim off when we shoe a horse, is the part that you would trim off with your fingernails. If you get them too short on your fingers, they're sore. If you get a horse too short, they're sore. It's all relative. You have to be able to read horses. Horses, you got to be able to look at them and see what they're thinking, and you got to make a little bond with them. If you've been around them enough, you'll know when they come up to you whether they're going to be social or not social, or butthead or nice. You just, and you just got to adjust accordingly. A good set of nippers. I mean, there's difference. There's dull ones and ones that don't work good, but if you get a good set of nippers, they're priceless. But on another note, I will tell you that Gunner Special Night is now one of the leading sires in the whole reining industry. And the horse that beat Gunner Special Night is one of the leading, I think the leading mare in the whole reining industry. So that was a tough year. Those two horses are Hall of Fame horses. That was just a special time.
Did you know that farriers are one of the oldest professions in the world? People have been shoeing horses for over 2,000 years.
When Monica and I got together in 1994, we had a little Jack Russell dog that went everywhere with Monica. It's so hard to take a dog to work with you because it's hot, and then they get into stuff and fight with the dogs wherever you go. But we had a little good, really good Jack Russell she lived 17 years or something like that. And then after that we got the mini Aussies. We got into mini Aussies, and we had mini Aussies ever since. We've just had, just rotating through them. We've had some great dogs over the years. Now Monica's got the show dogs, which you'll see. I like mini Aussies for sure, but a good dog. At our house, we don't breed them, we just collect them. They just got a good personality that you can, bond with. I've been good with all kinds of dogs anyway, so it's easy for me to relate to animals more than people maybe.
My name's Monica Garrett. This guy here is Cutter, and the one out there wandering around is Catcher. To sum up one word, energetic. First off, I wanted a medium-sized dog. I wanted something that would work for me but be biddable, and just to have a lot of fun with them. I needed something that would want to work, and they're the dog for me that I found that would do it. I got Cutter when he was 6 months old, and I started training him right away. And I only showed him here in Arizona. I don't travel out of state to show him. And his first show, he got points. We have to gain points in a show to earn their championship. He got his championship, and then I went on and got his grand championship, and now we're working on our bronze. He's 18 points away from his bronze championship. The AKC goes through and redoes the points for the males and females in every breed. So the points can change every year. So it depends how many males are in their class for the breed to earn the points. To earn their championship, they have to earn 3 majors, which is a 3-point major, 4-point major, or 5-point major, depending on the number of dogs in the class. And after that, everything's earned by points. And they have to earn these points under different judges. So if I have the same judge in one day, and he earns 5 points under each judge, he's only allowed to earn one set of 5 points. There's a show per day, okay, and they can go anywhere from 2 to 4 days. So, but like Westminster, the championship of all of them, can go for 7 days. The difference between the miniature American Shepherd and the Australian Shepherd is with the miniature American Shepherds, we have a height standard. The females can go from 13 to 17 inches, and the males can go from 14 to 18 inches. Once the males outgrow that height standard, they cannot be shown in conformation anymore. They get disqualified. But they can show in any other competition, such as agility, scent work, herding, anything else like that, just not in conformation. They come from the Australian Shepherd. They just bred the smaller dogs that come out of those litters. So that's why we're not so far along that we don't still get standards in this breed yet. Generally, the personalities between the two breeds, the miniature American and the Australian Shepherds, there isn't a personality difference. You just have your lines that might have personality difference. Like Cutter, he's a little more quiet, and then we've got Catcher, he's a little more exuberant, but he's always in play mode and stuff. Cutter's 4 years old and Catcher is 9 months old. Well, the nipping and grabbing is part of the herding, because if you watch them work cattle or sheep, they will nip at the hocks of the animals, whatever they're herding, and it basically comes from that. And I just want to try and train it out of him so that there's no aggression comes out of it eventually, because it can become aggression because, you know, the older dog gets tired of being nipped at, and then all of a sudden you have a little squabble going on. Not only that, but they pull coat out too, and I show them.
Many Australian Shepherds are loyal, protective, family-oriented, and always watching the ranch like a tiny foreman.
I was born in Barstow, California, and when I was 5, I moved to Marana. We had a ranch there. Glover Ranch raised hay and cotton and wheat and all that stuff. We also had horses and cattle. So I grew up on the ranch riding. That was my favorite thing of all time. There wasn't much in Marana when I was growing up. There was, you know, your stores, but if you wanted a big store, you had to go to Tucson, which means you had to carry an ice chest to get your frozen stuff home. So I competed in reining for about 15 years. We never had a place where we could keep horses for ourselves. I always had to board out, and it got expensive when everything started going up. So we sold them and sold everything, and I got into the dogs. So I went from the horse to the dogs. I met Jim we met through a friend. We both had the same friend, and we met through a friend. And I had just gotten a horse, and I was trying to train him by myself without any trainer, and I wasn't having any luck, and Jim came along and he introduced me to Marcy Vermeer, and that's how we kind of got together. He's the one that first started shoeing my horses, Jim. I don't think anybody else ever shod my horses, come to think of it. It was him. When we're on the ranch, it's really fun to watch him, but the crazy one is Catcher, the young dog. This is fun to watch. When they run and play and have a good time, it really isn't a quirk, but it's just fun to watch.
Thanks again for hanging out with us. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and become a ranch dog for life. See you next time. Well, howdy. I'm Buster Paws. Welcome to Ranch Dogs.
This is sort of like a test, like I said, to bring the character to life and see what how he moves, what works, what doesn't, what do we need to improve on. So the next stage would be a couple more lockdown drawings, put a model sheet together, do an expression sheet so we can see how far we can push the expressions on the face. The next stage is fine-tune the detail, start coming up with the color palette, get into the fun stuff. And we are developing our pilot for an animated series. We're developing a series of 1.5 minute shorts with Buster. And we're going to add a few more characters like his nephews or something, probably some ranch animals.
See you next time.